Renovating Retirement with Charlie Jewett. Oh no, I think I'm about to have another episode.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Charlie Jewett with the Renovating Retirement Podcast coming to you with episode 77. Can you believe it? 77 episodes. Wowzers. I'm in the middle of a series on mortgage planning, which is the first, it's the way I dipped my toe into the industry. I came out of the mortgage industry, crossed over to comprehensive financial planning, created the merit planning system, mortgage planning, estate planning, retirement planning, insurance planning, and tax planning. The first letter of all those spells merit, so I've called it merit planning all along. And mortgage planning was where I started. So we've covered two pieces of mortgage planning, which is that home equity, or trying to store money inside of your house by accelerating your mortgage or trying to pay it off, which is very traditional, very popular. But doing that, every dollar you stick inside of the house fails all of the tests of a wise investment. Yes, it's traditional. Yes, it's comfortable. But no, it is not good for you compared to the alternative, which would be storing your equity somewhere else and just keeping the mortgage. What tests does it fail? 2 podcasts ago, I covered it fails the liquidity test. If you don't have a job, if you're disabled, if you can't show good income, even if you're retired and just have a whole bunch of assets but no guaranteed income, you cannot qualify for a mortgage and can't get the money out of your house. If something's wrong with your home, if it's compromised in some way, if it's fallen off a cliff, a cracked slab, it burns down, it's flooded like in New Orleans. If the house is compromised, you can't refinance it. You probably can't sell it, at least not for what it's worth. And even worse, if it's destroyed, sometimes you're in a fight with an insurance company that does not want to pay. These are property and casualty insurance companies, very different than life insurance and annuity companies. Today on episode 77, we're going to cover home equity fails the rate of return test. It does not earn enough of a rate of return to keep up with inflation. Now, how's that possible? People think real estate is a great investment, so they put a bunch of money inside of real estate. Yes, the value of your home is a wise investment, or let me rephrase that. The value of your home is a good investment because typically real estate, the value of the home, goes up over time, and we call that appreciation. So if you buy a house worth $500,000 and it goes up 10%, whether that's in a year, a 2-year period, or a 10-year period, if it appreciates in value where people would pay $550,000 for the house instead of $500,000, you made $50,000 or grew your net worth by $50,000. Yes, we love that. Real estate is a good investment in that sense. However, the mortgage you have on the home has nothing, zippo, a sum total of 0 to do with appreciation. If you do 100% financing as a veteran and you buy the house for $500,000 with a $500,000 mortgage and the value goes up 10%, you make $50,000. If you take $500,000 out of your investments and stop earning compound interest for the rest of your life and pay cash for a $500,000 house, and it goes up 10% from $500,000 to $550,000, you made the same $50,000. Appreciation or real estate being a wise investment has nothing, absolutely nothing to do with the decision whether or not to store your hard-earned dollars, your workhorses, the money out there earning compound interest for you, whether or not you should store that inside of a piece of real estate where it's doing nothing. So let's cover rate of return. This is one of my favorites because it actually makes dealing with home equity fun. The previous 2 talked about all nasty things. If your house is destroyed or you lose your job or you're disabled, we don't want to talk about that. Depreciation, all negative, right? Making money using home equity planning is fun. So let's look at our house with a $500,000 value. We're pretending in this series that you've paid it down to $250,000. So you have $250,000 in equity sitting inside of the home itself, not in an investment somewhere earning compound interest, but just sitting inside of the house as value. How much interest are you earning on that $250,000 of home equity? Now, for anything to be a good investment, it needs to earn interest one way or another. It has to earn something. It needs to be keeping up with inflation at least and be growing and compounding for us to even call it an investment. So the question to ask about home equity is, does it have a rate of return? And if so, how much are you being paid on it? Is there a bank paying you interest on that $250,000 of home equity? Is there an insurance company paying you interest on the $250,000 of home equity? Is there some stock or bond tied to your home equity that if it does well, you get more? No. The answer is absolutely no. Let's look at an example. One way to form home equity is to make a large down payment or make any form of down payment. If you take $100,000 of your workhorses out of earning compound interest, you keep them from going into the market or into an insurance product or into an annuity or whatever. You stop them from earning and you use them to make a down payment on a $500,000 house. How much interest does the bank pay you for the use of the $100,000 you handed them? Do they send you a check for $5,000 because you're getting 5% per year? Or do they send you $1,000 because you're getting 1% per year for that $100,000 down payment? Well, you've probably noticed that they don't send you anything, no interest for the use of that money. The amount of interest earned, or the rate of return on home equity every single dollar you stick inside of your house, is actually zero. If you take $100,000 out of investments earning 6% and use it as a down payment on a home, you will lose the $6,000 a year you were earning on that money, and the bank will not pay you any interest for the use of that money. At best, you're saving yourself whatever you would have paid on the mortgage, but that would have been tax deductible. So if you're paying, 3.5%, 4% for a mortgage, after tax deductions cost you like 2.8 to 3%, maybe you're saving yourself 2.8 to 3% at best and putting money in a situation where it's not safe and not liquid. This does not make real estate itself a bad investment because of what I taught you before. The value of real estate can appreciate over the years. That's great. What's important to understand is that every dollar you choose to take out of investments and pay against your principal rather than putting it into outside investments or cash accumulation vehicles, it costs you whatever amount of interest you could have earned on that dollar. Now, if that dollar were in insurance strategies over the last 30 years, it would have made you 8.2% compounded over 30 years, tax-free before costs. After costs would have been about 6 to 7% net tax-free, which is like making 9 or 10 in the market. So if you can afford to give up money that's making 9 or 10% in the market, or 6 to 7% tax-free, and giving you more death benefit and giving you long-term care, then sure, stick a bunch of money in your house where it's not safe and liquid, and if you're rolling like that, no big deal. For the rest of us who want to optimize every dollar in our lives and make sure that we're taken care of, whether we have a long life, short life, rough life, sick life, and into the next life, we need to pay attention to mistakes like this. There's an opportunity cost for every dollar you put inside of your home. It is costing you the 6 or 7% tax-free that you could have earned, and you're not allowed to write off that loss on your taxes. Down payments do lower the mortgage payment, though, which lowers the amount of interest you pay monthly. Putting $100,000 more down on your home lowers the amount of interest you're paying, which means that it has some investment value. The important question to ask is, how much interest am I paying on my mortgage versus how much interest am I earning on my investments? It truly is that simple. Should you be paying off your mortgage or not? You look at what your mortgage costs, you look at what you're earning on your investments. And if your investments are not earning 6 to 7% tax-free, you're with the wrong advisor. You must fire them. You must go listen to the show, The Rich Man's Roth IRA, and the other episodes I've put out, and learn why they're hiding the investment from you that's worked best over the last 30 years. If you're earning 6% on your investments, take $100,000 out in order to make a down payment and pay it against the principal on your mortgage. That would only make sense for a mortgage that costs 6% per year or more. If your mortgage rate is only 4.5%, for example, using 6% money to lower the mortgage hurts you financially. For each $100,000 that's not earning 6%, that costs you $6,000 per year, not to mention the compound interest on that $6,000 year after year, but it costs you $6,000 a year in lost revenue to not earn that money. If that money goes to lowering your 4.5% mortgage by $100,000, then it's only saving you $4,500 per year. You're literally paying $1,500 a year. You lost $6,000, it saved you $4,500. You're paying $1,500 a year to put money at risk where it's not safe and not liquid. That is not a conservative or wise move at all. Put very simply, if I meet a new client who has $100,000 in an investment account earning 6%, or it's inside of a cash value life insurance policy or a guaranteed annuity, let's say, if it's earning 6%, and they have a $100,000 debt on their home costing them 4.5%, do you think I ever say, Mr. and Mrs. Client, right now your investments make you $6,000 per year, and your mortgage costs you about $4,500 per year for a net profit to you of $1,500 a year positive. I know that sounds good, but mortgages are bad, so I think you should take your investments and pay off your mortgage. Would you suggest that to anybody, to any of your friends? To your family? Would you tell them you're making $1,500 a year by keeping your money liquid and safe from depreciation, but I want you to stop that? Now, if they make 2% in their investments, so their 100,000 is making 2,000 a year, and they have a mortgage at 8% that's costing them $8,000 a year for a negative $6,000 a year, that's a different story, right? Whether or not to pay off your mortgage or accelerate your mortgage is 100% based on how much you can earn in your investments and how low your mortgage interest is, which means people like me and my certified retirement renovators, since we know how to safely earn people a net of 6 or 7% compounding every year on their money, we don't follow the same old outdated rules of, oh, you should pay off your mortgage. If someone tells you it's wise to pay off your mortgage and they're in the financial services industry, what they're actually telling you is that they are no good at their job and don't know how to make you more than the net cost of a 3.5% to 4% mortgage. They're actually telling you either they're ignorant and haven't studied it, or they don't believe enough in themselves to believe that they can make you more than 2.8 to 3% on your investments. If that's the case, you need to run from that person because they're going to hurt you. Find a real advisor who uses all of the tools, including insurance and annuities. They're not addicted to the stock market because that's what pays them the best. Find somebody comprehensive who knows what they're doing. They're independent. They don't work for one of the name brand insurance companies. They work with every insurance company. And they've studied mortgage planning, and they've studied all parts of finance: mortgage plan, estate plan, retirement plan, insurance plan, and tax plan. Just a straight investment advisor who works for some joker broker telling you outdated information like pay off your mortgage is going to hurt your family. Okay, so for lump sums of investable assets, it depends on how much you can earn on your assets versus how much you have to pay for the mortgage. You can earn about 6 to 7% safely. Listen to my episode, The Rich Man's Roth IRA, and you'll learn how. But what about for extra money you have at the end of the month? What about for discretionary money or inheritance money or a tax refund you get every year? Should you pay down your mortgage or put it into your investments? Again, it depends on how much you're earning in your investments versus how much the mortgage is costing you. Period. It's very simple. If a client of mine gets a $10,000 tax refund and asked me what to do with it, do you think I would blindly tell them to pay down their mortgage because mortgages are bad without looking into the facts? No. Would you? I hope not. If their investments are making more than their mortgage is costing them, I would suggest they build up their assets rather than pay down their debt. Financial strategizing is doing what's best for you financially, and earning 6% on your investments or cash accumulation vehicles while only paying 4.5% for a mortgage still nets you a positive spread or an arbitrage of 1.5%. People, insurance companies are billions of dollars in debt, pay us commissions to get them in more debt, and have no interest in being debt-free because of what I'm teaching you. If you can make a spread of 0.5%, 1%, 2%, if you can make a spread on the money, you're killing it. You're making 30, 40, 50, 70% rate of return. It's killer. This is what the banks and insurance companies do for a living. They pay professionals salaries and commissions to get them into more debt, not because they're stupid and haven't heard the pundits who write terrible books, but for a better reason. They've studied what I'm trying to teach you. They know that liabilities are one of the most powerful tool in the financial services industry, and just like buy low, sell high, which is wholesale retail, has made infinite people rich, Borrow low, lend high has made people very, very rich. So you should do what the banks and insurance companies are doing, not what they're telling you to do. So I don't suggest you take a large investment account to pay down debt that costs less than you're earning. And I don't suggest you pay down lower cost mortgage debt with monthly and annually disposable income if you can earn more than the mortgage is costing you. In light of that, what do you think I tell my clients if they can borrow money out of their homes at 4.5%? And invest it somewhere where a 30-year average of 6 or 7% tax-free. People, read the book on my website. Just go to jewettwealth.com, JEWETT.com, navigate to books that I recommend, and look at two books. Douglas Andrews' Missed Fortune 101. You can read chapters 6, 7, and 8, and then 9, 10, and 11. You'll know everything about mortgage planning. And then my short book, 27 pages, which just puts it in a nutshell, called The 2 Ways to Be Debt-Free. I hope this is helpful. Tomorrow I'll finish up this series and talk about how home equity fails the tax treatment test. It's not liquid. It's not safe. It's not making you a rate of return, or at least it's a lower rate of return than you could make if you didn't do this. And it hurts you on your taxes. What a crappy suggestion. I don't know how it got so popular. Follow me on Facebook, Jewett Wealth Management, JEWETT, or Renovating Retirement. And you can follow me on Twitter, Reno, RENO _retirement. I think you people are awesome. Maybe the best.
Renovating Retirement with Charlie Jewett.
But that's all, folks.